were you there at Team 4 for what, 4 years?
Yeah, just 5 years. So I did 93 to 98, did 2 South American Panama deployments.
Yeah.
Pre 9/11. So it was go down, do the FID mission, the MTT stuff with our partner forces, and it was great for 19, 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from those guys.
Yeah. And was there any counter-narc stuff that you guys were a part of, or was it pretty?
Not too much. I didn't get involved with it. Some of the Team 4 guys were in that area, but yeah, I did pretty much all of my deployments for all FID mission stuff.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, the FID is Foreign Internal Defense, or basically just training with the host nation forces and things of that nature.
Yeah, sorry, I got relapsed into my military jargon.
No, it's easy to. I do it all the time, but yeah. All right, so after Team 4, is that when you decided to screen and go to DevGru, or?
Even at that point, I did. So when I screened, I had no clue what DevGru was, even though my first 2 platoon chiefs came from there. They didn't really talk about it, didn't really say anything about it. They just reminded me, like, hey, if you want to take the next step and stay in, you should at least screen for it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. And my fiance, or my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she's like, well, I'm staying in Virginia Beach. So if you get out, then I'm staying here. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll sign up and screen for this thing, and screen positive. And I was supposed to go in 99, and then the other guy that screened for 98 got hurt. So I took his spot in 98 and went over to Green Team in 98.
What, if you can, shed some light on Green Team in terms of how it compares to Buds? I know they're 2 totally different courses, but for the listener, I think a lot of times people are confused, or just they don't have a deep understanding of how significant and difficult going through Green Team is.
Yeah, so if I was going to compare it, so Buds would be your selection course. Does this student or candidate have the mental and physical capacity to be a SEAL? And that's really all they're screening up. Like, okay, he's strong enough to get through Hell Week, and now we're going to train him and see if he's smart enough to do the job. Then you go to your team, you learn how to do the job, and then what Green Team is kind of that next selection. It's like, okay, he can do the job. Can he do it well enough to work to this next level?
Yeah.
And it's at that point, it was another 6-month screening process. Jumping and scuba diving, all the stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis. It was just like the advanced varsity level type stuff. Yeah.
One of the things that it seems to me, I guess, having not been there, but knowing quite a few guys that went, is that one thing I was surprised, and I'd love for you to shed some light on.
Sure.
Is some guys that I knew that did multiple platoons with and I didn't have the highest opinion of them, nor did a lot of people at the command. But again, pre 9/11, some of them went over there and did fairly well. They at least made it. I mean, and other guys that again, after having spent a few years with them, more than just walking past them in a fucking locker room, legitimately working with a guy for a few years that goes over there that you think is pretty fucking squared away that doesn't make it. If you could shed some light on that in conjunction with how big, if any, a role in terms of politics playing in your ability to make it through their plays.
I would say politics are very little. I mean, you'll have some personality conflicts, and I had a couple of those with my Green Team class. Good dudes that they had friction with the cadre staff, so it kind of came to a boiling point that he made enough little mistakes that it added up to get him rid of. But these days, it's pretty cut and dried. There's standards. Here's what we're looking for. We're trying to keep as many guys as we can because we got a mission to do for the country, and we need as many guys as we can. So we're not trying to get rid of guys for any reason, unless there's a character, integrity, or safety issue. But 90% of the SEALs, if they would screen, they could make it through Green Team. I think most of the guys have the capacity to do it. Whether or not they have the drive to do it, or life situation lets them go, and all that kind of stuff that goes on the backside that nobody really pays attention to.
Yeah. To me, Green Team.
Does that answer your question a little bit?
No, for sure.
Kind of random.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, just in thinking of knowing a few guys that have gone there, and some of them I had a pretty high opinion of, and some not, didn't seem to correlate with the guys that made it through versus the guys that didn't, at least across the board. I mean, I would say largely it did, but there were enough examples of either guys I went through training with or were at Team 3 with that I look at and I'm like, 10 years later, I'm like, how the fuck is this guy? Like, he was a bonehead,
Yeah.
and back when I knew, so I don't know.
I think, I mean, because I was one of the young guys. My nickname was Baby because I was the youngest guy in Green Team and everything along. So I matured a lot during Green Team.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a standard for a lot of guys that meet the expectations at one of the other SEAL teams, and going now they're stepping up. Now they're put in a position where they've got to make themselves better, and they're with more. I want to say cream of the crop because there's a lot of great guys out there, but they're at that next level, so they've got to step up. They can't slip up and kind of keep up with the train.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings the best out of everybody because it's a competition. Regardless of what anybody says, it's always a competition. You're always getting judged. Everybody's always watching.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the Green Team, then there's the draft on who goes to what squadrons.
How does that work?
Well, these days it kind of boils down to who needs guys and what kind of guys or what skill sets they need, and then they kind of draft off and go from there. Everybody running the Green Team is from one of the squadrons, so they know the personality, who's going to fit with their squadron, who's not going to fit with the squadron. So it kind of comes down to a shuffling game along those lines.
Yeah. When you were in that position, was it were guys vying to get you for a specific reason, or did it just
No, I think I was probably at the bottom of the list.
I
made it through. I made it through, and I didn't screw anything up as far as I know, and I never got in trouble. And I was one of the gray guys, gray men.
Yeah. Where did you end up going?
I ended up going to the Gold Squadron.
Yeah. And were you there the whole time, or?
I did. What did I do? 6 or 7 years in Gold Squadron, and then did some training time, then the Black Squadron, then the snipers, and then back to Black Squadron, and it's kind of bounced around a little bit.
Yeah. So your time at the squadron, if you could kind of walk us through what that experience is like when you've done some time in a regular SEAL team, you go through Green Team, you get picked up, now you're in a squadron.
It was eye opening because at this point I'd already had 5 years in the teams, done a couple of deployments, knew I could do the job, and made it through Green Team. Again, didn't really screw up, and just one of the guys in Green Team. But when you step into that squadron and you hit the house for the first time, it's like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
This is fucking fast, and I have no clue what they're doing. I'm just going to try to keep up with the back of the train and keep my eyes open as much as I can to learn.
Yeah.
Because now you're like training is to a level, but then now I'm stepping right into the big leagues.
Yeah.
And I kind of think they always set it up this way too, because looking on the back when we had new guys, we already run the house a bunch of times before the new guys showed up. So you kind of knew the scenario.
Yeah.
They already know what's going on. So
impressive.
I think it's almost like the old guys at the time, because some of the renowned guys in Gold Team at that time, and I think they set it up like we're just going to fucking blow their socks off.
Yeah. So they're like,
and put them in their place right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody that came up with the Green Team with me, they're all like, holy fuck.
Yeah. What in terms of kind of your impression of that, did you feel that same way? And from there, like, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. I was like, holy shit, what did I step into?
Yeah.
Like, we just stepped it up like 10 notches from where I was at.
Yeah.
But, I mean, once you start in there, after a couple of weeks, it starts slowing, everything slows down because you start to see a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You can see the mindset and see what's going on. You can hear the communications now, because before, you're not hearing shit. Guys are making calls. They're just running and shooting. Shit's blowing up. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But, after that, after you do a few runs and start slowing down, and then that process goes through your head, you understand, you know how to do CQB, you know how to prosecute a house and a target and everything else. Now you're opening your eyes. And these guys, I mean, even as a brand new guy, they're letting me run the hall. They're like, hey, you're up front, run the hall.
Yeah.
You're like, you're part of the squadron.
Yeah.
Like, do your job.
What is the standard in terms of grouping and not shooting a hostage? I mean, it's pretty stringent. Like,
yeah, don't miss.
I mean, and what like, is there a 3x5 card standard, or what?
It's we'll do drills like that with shot placement type stuff. But if we're doing house runs, it's keep them in the body and the head.
Yeah.
Don't shoot any hostages.
And if you do, I mean, what? Let's say
it's pretty significant. If you shoot a hostage on a driver, at least in the late '90s when I went through before 9/11, the National Mission Force DevGru, it was hostage rescue. That's what we're there for. We're there in case something happens and the balloon goes up. We got 4 hours to react and go save the world. So we train heavily on fast CQB, put ourselves at risk, get the hostage and take them home. So if we shot something that wasn't a bad guy, it was pretty stringent. The guys, you get your ass handed to you.
I mean, like if it happens twice, you're kicked out, kind of thing, or
I don't know if there's a specific number on it, because you kind of weigh everything.
Yeah.
But if you repeatedly mess up, you were going to be carrying the heavy shit.
Yeah.
Like grab a sledge and don't touch a fucking gun.
Yeah. Without getting into the actual tactics, how big a difference was there tactically between what you'd done at SEAL Team 4 CQB wise and now what you were doing at DevGru?
At that time in the 90s, probably the biggest aspect would be the speed.
Yeah.
The speed and the complexity of the targets.
Yeah.
Because now we're using, I mean, we did explosions and explosive stuff at breaching and whatnot at Team 4, but it wasn't like, hey, every single run, at Dam Neck you run through, people were blowing shit in the hole and you're walking past. You got to keep your head on a swivel because there's no slowing down.
Yeah.
If hey, this door's locked, breachers, you take that, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably the speed and the complexity were the biggest changes.